Coronavirus, no Nigerian among 29 infected foreigners, says China. Now, from the very beginning, this one flies at me as not totally trustworthy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because everybody knows that China is actually a communist country, and communist countries are not very, very truthful about what is going on in the nations. So I am a little bit skeptical about this news. I mean, I don't pray Nigerians are among those people. I don't pray Nigerians. I mean, about a couple of those people, I think two people have already died out of the 29 infected that are foreigners, and I think nine have recovered, things like that. So that's just the issue. I don't pray there's any Nigerian among them, but I'm just being a little bit skeptical of what China is saying, because one of the problems with this particular coronavirus issue that we're having and we're talking about is because China has been lying about this problem from the very beginning. China has been lying about it. One of the reasons why the thing spread this much was because when the thing was discovered at the beginning, starting from around ending of November to the beginning of December last year, they refused to let anybody speak about it. It was hidden, it was censored, nobody could speak about it in China until towards the end of the year, before they now announced, okay, there's a particular problem. By that time, so many people have already caught the disease, and that's one of the reasons why so many Chinese are having the disease right now. So many people have been quarantined. The entire province of Wuhan has been quarantined. So many other areas have been quarantined. Almost going towards like several hundred millions, hundreds of millions of people have been quarantined in China because of this problem. Because China is very secretive. They don't say the truth about what is happening, because they have to protect the integrity of the government, or at least the image of the government on the world stage. That's one of the things. It's the same thing with the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union was still around, a communist nation, communist nations are known to be very secretive. That's one of the problems with China, and that's why it is very dangerous, because there are still many things that China hasn't said about this disease. Some people are postulating that maybe the thing came from the meat market, kind of like exotic meat market in Wuhan, that is wild animals, that they're bats, snakes, and things like that. Maybe that's where the thing started. People consumed an animal that had the disease. That seems to be the natural way for you to, at least the natural means that most people are going to think how the thing came. But the problem, there's one very big problem that is with that theory, is that there is a science research lab there for researching human diseases that can be transmitted from animals in that same town. And not only in that same town, that lab is directly opposite, or at least it's across the road from the meat market they're talking about. And what now really happened was that scientists at South Beijing University discovered that this disease had already been infecting some people, like since November, several weeks before the first case happened to have come from the meat market, which means it could not have started from the meat market. It must have started from that lab. Now, one of the things that they said was that there were some scientists in that lab that got peed on, that is by bats. Some of the bats that had the disease peed on some of the scientists in that particular place. I think the scientists in concerned quarantined themselves for 14 days, but I don't think that really works, because now we know that the coronavirus can actually be non-symptomatic. That is, you won't see any symptom on the person to even know whether the person is infected or not, up to about 24 days. So if you had quarantined himself for 14 days, maybe that wasn't enough, or that was the issue. Then there was another one that got bit by, it's very, very funny. One of those scientists actually got bitten by one of the bats, and then you have blood mixing and things like that. They say that somebody was involved in the evolution of the virus and all sorts of things like that. It sounds very fishy, and the science and the Chinese government refused to talk about this. The Chinese government refused to make this known to people, for the most part. That's why people don't trust China. They refused to make this known for the most part. The doctor that gave the alarm later on that, okay, this problem is much more widely spread than the Chinese government is talking about or is letting on. The doctor is gone now. Obviously, we all know, okay, they say that the virus actually killed the doctor, but I'm not so sure. What if the Chinese government actually snubbed at the doctor for what he said? I'm not trying to push a conspiracy theory, but China, if you really know anything about the history of China, you are going to know that the Chinese government are not people to be trusted, really. So now, but at least in a way, I'm actually, in a way, happy if this is true, that no Nigerian citizen is among those foreigners in China that got infected with and the coronavirus. At least it means that in a way our nation is not going to have people returning with the virus, at, at least in the very least for now. So that's what I think, at least in a way. So that's what I can say about this one for now, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next segment. Again, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever there is a news article up for you guys. So thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.